Hey everyone, it's Brian at the Daily AI Show. This week is all about AI in warfare. If you missed last Saturday's bonus episode, the idea behind these episodes is to explore a conundrum that's a difficult problem or question with no clear or easy solution, and to do it by using some AI magic along the way. I'll keep the process short and sweet this week, but it includes me and ChatGPT, a bit of deep research with Perplexity, and finally some customization in Google's Notebook LM to produce this AI conversation. Here's this week's conundrum. Should we continue developing autonomous weapons to minimize human risks in conflict, despite the ethical and moral implications? Or should we ban the use of AI in lethal decision making, even if it means potentially prolonging conflicts and risking more human lives? Let's dig in.
All right, strap in, everybody. Today we're going deep on something pretty intense, AI in warfare.
Yeah, it's like straight out of a movie, but it's getting real and fast.
Right. Should we be letting machines decide who lives and who dies on the battlefield? That's the question.
No easy answers there. We've got some wild research and opinions to dig into today.
Oh yeah, definitely some surprising stuff. Let's dive in.
One thing that really jumps out is the argument that AI could actually save lives, human lives.
How so?
Well, think about it. Robots fighting means fewer human soldiers in danger, right?
Okay, I see what you're saying.
Plus, these machines, they don't get tired, they don't get scared, they don't make emotional decisions.
But wouldn't that just shift the risk to civilians?
That's a worry for sure, but some experts think AI could be more precise, less collateral damage.
Interesting. So less emotional, maybe more precise, but what about the cost? Wars are expensive.
Right, but get this. Keeping a soldier in a place like Afghanistan, it can cost over $850,000 a year.
Wow.
But a weaponized Talon robot, that's a tough little rover, costs about $230,000 outright.
That's a huge difference.
Huge. Plus, you factor in the potential to reduce casualties, less spending on caring for wounded veterans.
I see. The economic argument starts to make sense.
Exactly, but I know what you mean. Robots making life or death calls, it's a little unsettling.
Yeah, a little bit.
What if I told you some folks believe AI could be more ethical than humans on the battlefield?
Really, how's that possible? A machine being more ethical?
It's about taking out human emotion. One roboticist, Ronald C. Arkin, he argues AI wouldn't need to protect itself.
So no self-preservation instinct.
Exactly. No shoot first, ask questions later mentality you see in some soldiers.
No fear or revenge driving decision.
Right, AI is all about processing information fast and objectively. Better at knowing who to target, maybe fewer tragic mistakes.
Okay, I'm following you. But what if these things malfunction? What if somebody hacks them?
Those are big concerns. We'll definitely dig into the risks of AI in warfare later.
Looking forward to that. What about the other side of the argument? Why shouldn't we use AI in warfare?
For many people, it comes down to basic human dignity. Can we really let machines have the power to kill?
I can see how that would be a sticking point for a lot of people.
There's a philosopher, Peter Asaro. He said, letting a machine decide to take a human life, that's a threat to our morality, our dignity, our justice, our laws.
So he's saying there's something sacred about human life, something a machine should never be able to take.
Exactly. A lot of people and organizations around the world agree with him.
Like who?
Well, the International Committee of the Red Cross, they're against AI targeting humans directly.
Strong stance.
Yeah, and there's a big movement growing to ban autonomous weapon systems altogether.
So we've got the ethical concerns. What about from a purely practical or military standpoint? Any arguments against AI in warfare from that angle?
Definitely. Some say relying too much on AI could make us less safe in the long run.
How so?
AI can be unpredictable, especially in the chaos of a battlefield.
I guess even with all the advances, we can't totally control how they'll act in every situation.
Right. There have been studies by the Rand Corporation and the UN. They show that in war games, the speed of AI can make things escalate really fast, unintentionally.
A split-second decision with massive consequences.
And then there's the problem of edge cases.
What are those?
Basically, AI is only as good as the data it's trained on. So when something totally new pops up, something outside its experience, it might not know what to do.
So like a self-driving car encountering a situation it's never seen before, but with much, much higher stakes.
Exactly. Mistakes like that in a war could be catastrophic.
So it sounds like there's some really solid reasons to be cautious about AI in warfare. But if that's the case, why are governments and militaries all over the world still pouring so much money into it?
That brings us to another key argument. The strategic necessity of AI on the battlefield.
Okay, lay it on me. What's this strategic necessity all about?
Well, in a world where everyone's competing, a lot of countries see AI as the key to staying ahead militarily.
Makes sense, I guess.
We've even got people like Deputy Secretary of Defense Kathleen Hicks talking about the need to build attritable autonomous systems to keep up with rivals.
Attributable, autonomous systems. Can you break that down for me?
Attributable basically means they're expendable. You can send out a bunch of them, even if some get destroyed. And autonomous, of course, means they can operate on their own, no human control needed.
So like swarms of AI drones or robots overwhelming the enemy. Kind of sounds like something out of a movie.
It does, but this stuff is becoming reality fast, and it puts democratic countries with ethical concerns in a tough spot. They might feel like they have to develop this tech even if they don't want to, just because their enemies are doing it.
So the classic arms race. If they have it, we need it too. Ethics be damned.
Exactly. A classic security dilemma. And it's a major factor driving the AI arms race. And that arms race, it really makes the ethical questions even harder, you know? Like, are we on a one-way track to machines running wars?
Yeah, it's a scary thought. And then what happens if, say, an AI system messes up and civilians get hurt? Who's to blame?
That's the million-dollar question, right? You can't exactly put a robot on trial, so who takes the fall? The person who turned it on? The commander who gave the order? The programmers who wrote the code?
Feels like a lot of finger pointing, nobody wanting to take responsibility.
That's a big worry. The International Committee of the Red Cross, they've talked about this, how it could weaken international law, set a bad example for future wars.
So we're not just debating if machines should make life or death choices,
Yeah.
but also who gets blamed when things go wrong.
Exactly. Plus, AI is so complicated, it's not always clear why a system did what it did, even to the people who built it.
That's pretty unsettling, not knowing why these things make the decisions they do.
Right. It makes you wonder if we really understand the risks before we let them loose.
It does. And that brings up another question. Can AI really tell the difference between a soldier and a civilian in the middle of a battle?
Because even if they're supposed to be precise and objective, algorithms can still make mistakes, right?
Yeah. Like, what if they misidentify a target?
That's the fear. There's this computer scientist, Noel Sharkey. He wants a ban on lethal autonomous targeting, he calls it. Says it goes against the whole idea of distinction in warfare.
Distinction. Refresh my memory on that one.
Basically, it means you got to be able to tell who's fighting and who's not. Civilians have to be protected.
So Sharkey's saying that by letting machines target and kill, we're making that distinction blurry, putting civilians in more danger.
Exactly. He thinks machines can never be trusted to make those calls, and if we let them do it now, it'll just get worse later.
So you think of that saying, to err is human, but to really screw things up, you need a computer.
Haha. Yeah, there's some truth to that. AI might be fancy, but it can still make mistakes, have biases, do things we didn't expect, and in war, those mistakes can be devastating.
We've talked about the dangers, but is there any way AI could be used for good in warfare? To make things less horrible instead of worse?
People are definitely looking into that. One idea is using AI for peacekeeping, humanitarian aid.
Like how?
Imagine AI drones delivering medicine to remote areas, or helping with search and rescue after disasters.
That's using AI to save lives, not take them.
Right. Some even think AI could help enforce the rules of war, prevent atrocities, like a system that listens to battlefield comms and flags potential war crimes.
An AI referee, keeping things fair?
Yeah, the idea is to make war less chaotic, less destructive, less inhumane using AI.
Sounds good in theory, but war is unpredictable. How would you even make that work?
It's tough, for sure. That's why a lot of experts say humans need to stay in control no matter how smart AI gets. The final decision on using force, that has to stay with us.
Makes sense. AI is a tool, but not the one calling the shots.
Exactly. Human judgment, human morals, those have to guide us in war and peace.
Right, so it feels like we're at a crossroads. We're not going to ban AI in warfare, but we don't want robots making all decisions either. What's the middle ground here?
That's the big question, isn't it? One idea is focusing on AI that helps humans, not replaces them.
Like an assistant, not a boss.
Exactly. Think of a chess computer. It can suggest moves, but the human player makes the final call.
I like that. Humans and AI working together, each doing what they're best at.
Right. We already see that happening in the military. AI sifting through tons of data to help analysts spot threats.
Makes sense. Humans are good at the big picture, the strategy, the morals. AI is good at crunching numbers and seeing patterns.
And if you combine those strengths, maybe you get better decisions, fewer mistakes, less destruction overall.
Finding that balance, using AI but keeping humans in charge, that seems like the key to doing this right.
I think so. And it's not just about the tech, it's about the rules too. Ethical guidelines, international agreements, laws to make sure this stuff is used responsibly.
So it's going to take experts from all over, tech people, ethicists, lawyers, diplomats.
Definitely. And ultimately, this is a conversation for everyone. These decisions affect us all. They'll shape the future of war and the safety of the whole world.
It really does feel like we're at a turning point, doesn't it? We've got this powerful technology, AI could change warfare forever, but are we really ready for it?
Yeah, it's like we invented the tool before we figured out the instruction manual. AI is developing so fast, and our ethics and laws are scrambling to catch up.
And it's not just about the tech itself, is it? It's about who controls it, who makes the decisions about how it's used, what are the limits.
Big questions, and I don't think anyone has all the answers yet. It's going to take a lot of work. Policymakers, ethicists, tech experts, everyone needs to be talking, figuring this out together.
It sounds like we need a global conversation about AI, not just in warfare, but everywhere, right?
Absolutely. We have to work together, come up with rules, make sure AI is used for good, not for hurting each other. We can't let this turn into another arms race, everyone rushing to build the deadliest machines without thinking about the consequences.
Because in the end, this isn't about robots or code. It's about people, isn't it? Human lives, human dignity, the future of our world.
That's it exactly. We can argue about the details, but we have to agree on one thing. Humans have to stay in control. We can't just hand over responsibility for life and death to machines.
Well said. We've just dipped our toes into this topic, but I hope this deep dive has given everyone listening a better sense of what's at stake. We've looked at the potential benefits of AI in warfare, the risks, the ethical challenges.
And most importantly, we've seen how much we still need to figure out. We need to keep talking, keep working together, find ways to use this technology responsibly. The future of warfare, heck, the future of humanity might depend on it.
So, as we wrap things up, I'd like to leave you with this. What role do you think AI should have in war? What safeguards do we need to put in place? This is something worth thinking about, talking about, because the choices we make today will shape the world of tomorrow.
Thanks for joining us on this deep dive. I hope it's given you some things to think about, some new ideas to explore.
Until next time, keep diving deep.